And I'm beyond excited tonight, folks, because not only is this Tonight Orlando with the great band that you just heard, with Spoons on the sax, Larry on the drums, Bruce on the bass, and Jordan on the guitar. Let's have a nice round of applause for the band. And Tom, our producer, who hides behind the screen like the Wizard of Oz. He makes this all happen. But why am I excited and why do I sound enthused? This is a good friend of mine, a great producer, Mr. Bruce Dunn. So happy to see you again, my friend.
Thank you very much for having me.
Oh, God, how could I not? Bruce got me started in television, called the Sports Hotline. He produced it. We were the #1 show on WCEU.
Yes, we were.
We killed it.
Yes, we were.
And this is his resume. If I sit here and read this, we'll be here for 2 days. This guy's been in the Olympics. He's a Brooklyn boy like me. We're boys from Brooklyn.
There you go.
Except I talk a little different than him. But at the end of the day, this is what I do with this. Because you know why? Bruce has produced everything. He's been with the Olympics. He's been on Monday Night Football. He's with Joe Paterno. He tried out for the Redskins. Jesus, this guy should have a harem of women chasing after him. But his wife would kill him, and his wife would kill me. So forget about it. So, Bruce, how's this feel? Now, you're on the other end of the set.
Yeah, this is kind of different for me, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. This is, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm glad we stayed in touch through the years.
We always did, didn't we?
And that's one of the things that has kept me relevant in my 47-year career.
Well, I'm a dentist for 45 years.
So,
and
yeah.
thanks to Tom Casey, who did my audio-video book, look what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I never expected, I still can't believe 47 years, and I'm getting ready to turn 35.
I'm older than you, Bruce. I'm older than you. You're killing me here.
But still, the point is we've had a successful run, and we're still going.
Yep.
And we're still relevant, and we're, at least I have been, I don't know if you're doing it, but I'm still mentoring a younger generation.
Oh, I mentor people all the time.
I'm helping them overcome some of the things that I had to deal with in my career in the early days. So I'm teaching and giving opportunities and bringing in people that I know to work with me.
Well, Bruce, we follow the same kind of path.
Yeah.
Because I mentor young kids who want to become a dentist. And I teach them the real values, just like you're teaching them the road, to success in your thing. So that's what we do. You know why? Because we're extinct. There's not many guys like us.
Definitely
I tell that
not.
to the young people. There's not many guys like
Definitely
us.
not.
We love what we do. And when you love what you do, it's not a job anymore.
Exactly. And I say that all the time. And unfortunately, our contemporaries,
Right.
they've checked out.
Yeah.
They've checked out mentally. Mm-hmm. They've checked out professionally. And unfortunately, a lot of them that have checked out have really checked out.
Why do you think that's happening? I have my opinion. What is your opinion?
Is that they're tired, they didn't want to keep up, and they just want to do nothing.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that doing nothing means you die.
Yeah,
Your brain
bro.
goes to
Look at us. I'm 69 years old. I don't slow down, and I'm not on any kind of drug. I don't take any speed. I don't even drink much coffee, and neither do you. But what I brought on the set, you're going to die. This is my diary.
Oh, my God.
When we started our show, Bruce first didn't know anything about me, right?
Nope, not at
He
all.
gave me a teleprompter. I go, I don't read teleprompters. And he's like, oh, God.
How are we going to get through
How are we
this
going to
show?
get through this show?
There's no way we're going to get through this show.
And there's no kill button.
Nope.
He's got headphones on me. He's talking to me. It's driving me nuts.
And we're doing it live with no delay.
Right. And how did it come out?
Perfect.
Yep. After the first show, he got up and they're all clapping. I go, what are you clapping about? They go, that was great. I go, no, it's terrible. I said, let me call my wife. Remember this?
Exactly.
I called Deborah up and she goes, what are you doing with your hands? They're under the table. Your knees are going. You know what you look like? I go, oh. I says, oh. So the next show, if you remember, my hands are on the desk.
Yeah.
And you're still trying to say, Carl, reading. I'm not reading nothing. Not reading nothing. And I call him back, and you guys clapping again. I go, no, I got a double. Debbie goes, you look like a stiff board. Well, I have the notes here. The next show, I said, Bruce, I don't like the set. Remember I told you I wanted to change the set?
Yep.
And there's everything I brought on the set.
2003.
2003, our first show.
Goodness.
Oh, my God, this is 2020. This is 21 years ago. Is that crazy?
It's hard to believe. It's hard.
But you know what? We're still laughing. We're still kicking.
And we were ahead of our time. We were doing innovative things, and we were doing things that people said couldn't be done. Especially, we were doing it in a public television setting. And people said, well, you're not going to be able to do that. And that was my whole big thing, was to teach young people how to produce content.
You did.
In real time.
And not only that, if you remember when we started, we had no studio audience.
None.
By the time we were going, we had waiting people outside. I remember when we had our red carpet.
Exactly.
We walked in like a bunch of celebrities. I go, all I'm doing is talking. This is what I do in dentistry. I'm just shooting the breeze.
We had a great time. I enjoyed it. I often reflect back on that. And, I miss it a little bit, but it's a new day now.
Right.
It's a new era. It's a new way of doing things. And now you can get anybody on your show because of the technology.
Like podcasts.
Exactly.
Zoom.
The technology has made it easy.
I like that. I had a green room. I would bring my people in there. You're in the back. You remember when I flew my parents down?
Yes.
This is a funny story, and I have to tell it. My father was told I had writers. Ask Bruce how many writers I had. And he goes, you have writers telling you everything. I go, what are you on, drugs?
Zero.
So we flew him down. Put him right in the front of the studio. Remember, we had standing room only. And he says, do not put me on TV. So I come out and go, hey, everybody, I'm so happy tonight. I'm not happy. This is our last show, remember?
That's
it was
right.
a 1 hour special. I said, but I flew my mom and dad. Would you put the cameras on my mom and dad? My father, you know what, wanted to kill me that night. And I said, Dad, by the way, Bruce, do I read from a teleprompter? Bruce goes, he doesn't listen to me. That was unbelievable.
It's been a great run. Yeah. I mean, from being at that TV station, like I said, I came from Penn State Public Broadcasting to build that facility.
And you did.
First analog to digital television station here in Central Florida. We went up against WMFE, which was the public television station and radio station of the Central Florida marketplace. And I had one goal: to create local programming that would be sustainable on a public television station.
And we beat them. We killed them.
We shut them down.
I know. But the problem is politics screwed us up.
Well,
a little bit.
The one thing that I have learned through my years being, the one thing I didn't like about working in public broadcasting is I had to deal with the politicians in Tallahassee. Right. So I was a lobbyist for 3 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had to be a registered lobbyist to go to Tallahassee.
You had to register as a lobbyist?
Because I had to go and lobby for my funding both sides of the aisle for the public television station.
I didn't know that.
That was the only way we got the money to continue to be a PBS station. Right. So I learned more than I wanted to learn about politics. But I learned how to navigate and how to not be political.
Right.
And no one ever had to know my politics. Right. And I was always about, because it was public broadcasting, we were trusted, and, to some degree, public PBS is still trusted. Yeah. We had to be neutral.
Right. Oh, we were. We never brought up politics.
No, we had to stay neutral, and we had to bring in, if we were going to do anything, we had to bring in both sides of the issues. And the one thing we never did is we didn't offer our personal opinion of what we thought was right or wrong. We never inflected that into a show.
Another reason why we were successful? Anytime I had a guest on and we knew something about them, we never let it out on TV. Remember the one football player who was signing, and he says, I can't tell you where I'm signing? And Bruce, you said to me, Carl, don't ask him where he's signing, because he's not going to tell you. But he told me.
He told us.
But we never put it on TV. But we didn't put it on TV.
Exactly. He told us behind the scenes.
Yep.
We never.
And after that was the way we built up. It was called integrity. Bruce had more integrity than his 6'5" body. It's unbelievable. We never crossed those lines. Yep. And we were talking sports and cracking jokes and telling stories.
And we had all different types of people from all different walks of life. So we wanted to make it a personality of our guests. Yeah. And we wanted them to be comfortable sitting in the chairs that they were sitting in and not feel they were going to be attacked.
No.
That's why they were wide open and they spoke to us about everything. because they were comfortable. We didn't attack them. We didn't go after the gossip.
No.
Thank God there was no social media.
Remember,
like
I was a Team Dennis and a Magic.
Yeah.
I knew everything.
Yeah, there was no
And I got them all on my show, and they
Thank
never said
God.
boo. We know. But you know what you did to me? I'll never forget this.
Uh-oh.
Bruce set me up beautifully. He calls me up. He goes, "You're going to get to interview Mark Martin." I said, "Where?" He goes, "At his flying community. You need to be there, and you're going to be." Mark Martin's not a guy that gets interviewed. You know that.
That's true.
So I show up with the production staff. And here comes Mark flying his plane. We're going to be in a hang. I go in there and I says, "Listen, I'm going to go over some questions." And he looks at me and goes, "This interview is not about me." I'm like, "Oh, God, what did Bruce just do to me?" So how fast do I think of my feet? I go, "Oh, no, Mark, it's not about you. But the viewers don't know anything about your son. So let's set the table with you."
That's right.
Then he goes, "This is only a 15-minute interview, 45 minutes, right?"
Yeah.
Afterwards, I call Bruce and go, "What the hell did you do?" He goes, "I knew you could pull it off. I didn't want to tell you." I go, "Thanks, Bruce." You remember that?
I remember it. I remember.
And that was the beauty. Everything we did was natural. So you say, you started on TV, but tell us about what your son did, because really you had to follow your son, and now that's opened up all kinds of doors.
My son, oh my goodness. I often tell people now I'm Eric Dunn's dad. I have no identity anymore after he became the godfather of Vine.
Wow.
He started off when the Vine app came out. He was a freshman or sophomore in college at FAU. He started doing the app. He started working on the app, creating these 6-second videos, primarily because he was more of an introvert.
Oh, he was.
And being an introvert is why he created so much content, because he wouldn't interact with anybody.
Right.
So he did his own shtick and his own little comedy stuff in 6 seconds. He produced so much content on Vine within the first 3 months of it coming out that he got the attention of Access TV and Mark Cuban. And
Mark Cuban contacted him?
his people
his
flew
people.
him out
To Dallas.
to LA to do a spot on Access TV.
Wow.
To introduce Vine to the world.
That I didn't know.
It's on my website because I keep that one clip when Eric was first introduced to the entire broadcast
gotta check
community.
that out.
That it was him doing Vine videos, because the host didn't even know what it was, didn't know anything about Vine. It was introduced because Eric had amassed 1.3 million followers
Wow.
within the first 3 to 6 months of being on that app.
Wow.
Then at that point, he blew up. He ended up with, I think he finally had like 7 million.
7 million. Oh,
And
my
then
God.
Twitter bought the app
Oh, they did.
and shut it down
They shut it down?
because they wanted to do something else. This was a time when Vine was in competition with the early stages of Instagram.
Yes, I remember that.
And Instagram was about pictures,
Right.
not video.
Right.
And Eric wouldn't convert to that format. And it got to a point where Vine for 6 seconds wasn't feasible for a lot of people, and Instagram came up with video. And when they introduced video, that's what killed Vine.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that. You're giving us a little history.
And that's what, and then that was all.
What year was that? Do you remember what year that was?
Oh man, I would have to look at my phone to pull it off. But yeah, it
Well,
was.
I remember when we were speaking, because your tuition bill came for your son, and you and your wife didn't know how you were going to pay the bill, and your wife tells you the bill is paid, Bruce.
It was
tell our viewers, tell the audience, basically what happened, because this is every dad's nightmare, but actually dream.
2013 to 2016 was Vine's heyday.
Wow, 3
And
years.
3 years, and that's all it took. But what happened was my son was in college. This was the early stages of a social media app that nobody understood how money was being made. But think about it. Now, I'm in the broadcast industry, and, it's all about the numbers. It's all about ratings. It's about how many eyes that you have. Well, he's amassed millions.
That's unbelievable.
And he's doing this, and he has a guaranteed, closed, confined group of people that are going to watch his stuff. So advertisers saw that, and they said, well, let's put our product with this guy and see if he will get those people to transition over to our product.
Wow.
And just by him doing things with their item,
Right.
they became well known. What's it? Frank's Red Hot Sauce?
Yes, that was your son?
My son was a spokesperson for it.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
He did a whole video for Frank's Red Hot. They
Wow.
paid him like maybe 25, 30 grand.
Wow.
You think about trying to get that type of a commercial on network television.
And being
It costs you a lot more
and he's
than
a
that.
sophomore in college.
Exactly.
Oh.
It'll cost you a lot more than that. And we're talking like, early 2000s.
The apple didn't fall far from the tree. No, come on. The apple did not fall far from the tree.
So-
He's just surpassed you now. Your
Yes,
tree
he
is
did.
now being
he did.
a little bit lower than your son's.
So he paid for his college tuition, and my wife and I, we were going online to pay his the tuition, and we saw that it was paid in full. And my wife, I was in another city doing a gig with ESPN, and my wife said to me, "Who paid the tuition?" I said, "I thought you paid it. I saw it was paid." She goes, "No, I didn't pay it." I said, "Well, somebody took care of it." I said, "I'll call them and find out." So picked up the phone. "Hey, Eric, what, how?" He goes, "I got this, Dad." "What do you mean I got this?"
Yeah.
I got this, Dad. I said, "Okay, what do you mean you got this?" "I got it. Don't worry about it. I'm taking care of it." I'm like, okay. I didn't think anything of it. Called my wife back and said, "Eric's got it. He's taking care of it." She goes, "What do you mean he's taking care of it?" He said he's taking care of it. She goes, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm getting ready to get on a plane to come home."
I think you were in Connecticut.
Yeah, I think that's what it was in
Because you and I talked.
That's
I remember
right.
that.
I was in. I didn't know where I was, but I was.
I have a
in
memory like an elephant.
So I was on my way home for that weekend, and I said, "I'm on my way home. I'm getting ready to go to the airport." She goes, "You need to go to Boca. Your son's dealing drugs."
I remember you telling me that. And I met Eric when he was a little kid.
She immediately
Yeah,
assumed
yeah.
he was dealing drugs.
Yep.
So I rerouted my flight rather than going to Daytona Beach. I went to
Yep.
Boca,
Yep.
showed up unannounced,
Yep.
knocked on his dorm
Yep.
door. He was going like, "Dad, what the hell?" Him and his roommate. I said, "Are you dealing drugs?" He goes, "What are you talking about?" I says, "Mom said you paid the tuition already. How the hell did you do that?" And that's when he shared Vine with me and all that he had gone to. I had no idea
Oh, I watched one little clip where he
how
had a
much
McDonald's
money
store. Yeah.
he was making. And I went, "That's real?"
Yeah,
And he went,
yeah.
"Yeah." And then I realized I had a lot of education and teaching I needed to do, educating my son, because he didn't pay any taxes on any of that money.
Oh, God.
And he was getting killed when I said, "Son,
Yeah.
do you know it?" So I took
Remember what happened to Richard Hatch?
I took him, exactly.
He went to jail.
I took him to my accountant. My
Right.
accountant looked at me, looked at him, and said, What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "What?" He says, "Do you know you got to pay Uncle Sam?" He says, "Who's Uncle Sam?" I said, "That's your uncle." He says, "I don't know that uncle." I said, "Well, that uncle knows you."
Your uncle knows you, buddy.
So, when we finally did all the taxes and stuff, the accountant said, "Well, man, you're a sophomore in college and you owe the IRS $8,000. He goes, "So?" He goes, "You owe the IRS $8,000. He says, "So what do I need to do?" He says, "You got to pay him." He wrote a check for $8,000.
As a sophomore in college, think about that. Now, today, if you went knocking on your son's door, you wouldn't ask if they're dealing drugs. "Are you on OnlyFans?" That's what you'd be asking today. Like, wait a minute, how are they paying the bills?
He had that account too.
He had the OnlyFans account. Oh,
He had an
my
OnlyFans
God.
account.
This-
He has done everything.
And where is he now?
He is up in Jacksonville doing stuff for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Wow.
He's doing his social media. He has his own podcast that says, that's called Dunn and Drew.
Dunn and Drew.
Dunn and Drew, you got to check it out. That was his roommate in college.
Who?
So Drew, the kid named
That's his
Drew.
last name, Drew?
It was Andrew.
Andrew. Okay, so Dunn and Drew.
Yeah,
Nice.
Dunn and Drew. It's a huge podcast on YouTube.
Okay, I'll check it out for sure.
And then from there, he just went crazy up in Jacksonville with endorsements and behind the scenes stuff. And after the Jacksonville Jaguars grabbed him and got a hold of him before Shah Khan took over, next thing you know, he's got all kinds of endorsements up there. And then Now he's doing stuff for the Jackson. What's the minor league team? The Jacksonville.
Oh, the baseball team?
Yeah, the Jacksonville.
I'm not sure of that.
Can't remember the name. It'll come to me. But he's doing social media for them. Major League Baseball,
Wow.
NFL teams, product endorsements.
Is he married?
No, he's got a girlfriend now.
Okay, well.
Got a girlfriend.
Okay. You might have to knock on that door again.
Yeah,
hey, son.
She's been around for a while.
Oh, she has?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I have a feeling it's just a matter of time.
Oh, really? You have any grandkids?
Yes, I got two.
You got two? Okay.
I got a 13-year-old and a 7-year-old.
Oh, wow.
But that's through my daughter.
Yeah, my daughter, I have three.
My daughter's 35 and my son's 30.
That's right, because your kids were just a little younger than mine. My daughter is 40 and my son's 37.
Yeah.
So look at our history.
So
huh?
Eric has been killing it, and the one thing that makes me more proud than anything else is the fact that he said to me years ago when I was trying to get him to find a full-time job, Dad, I'm not doing what you're doing.
Really?
He says, I watch you and Mom, and you told me what the formula was that you were told by the baby boomer generation coming up from our parents. You work 40 years, you put in 40 hours, you work 40 years, and when you retire, you get 40% of the income that you made in your best year, which is what Social Security pays out. He says, I'm not doing that. I said, well, how are you going to do it? He says, well, I'm not doing that.
Right.
I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I'm not going to go work for somebody for 40 years. He watched me. I've only had 7 full-time jobs in my entire career. But every one of those jobs, I either left to make more money, or I was asked to leave.
Really? Wow.
Now, I don't consider myself having ever been fired.
Right.
Because it was always, well, you know what?
We're going in a different direction.
Yeah, we're going in a different direction.
I remember that with WCEU.
You might want to consider leaving on your own. If not, you might end up getting fired.
Right.
So I left every position that I've ever had in a way that I could always go back.
And that's smart.
Not that I would want to.
Right. But you never burned any bridges.
Yeah,
no.
I've never burned any bridges. Now, I've got people that didn't like me, but one of the philosophies that I live by and have always lived by is if you know that you've done nothing wrong to anyone, or if you have done something and you've forgiven yourself and you encounter that person and you're willing to apologize for what then you can move on.
Right.
If that person isn't able to move on, then what you've realized is that it's not on you.
Oh, it's never.
That's on them.
Yep.
That's their issue. They've got to reconcile what's going on.
Yeah.
When I've been in positions where, Telemundo, when I first left Telemundo, I had a vice president general manager that told me, what's it going to take for you to leave?
Really?
And I looked at him and said, 3 years of severance pay. He said 2. Deal. We handshake deal, but I was told, can't talk about it.
Right.
Can't tell anybody why you're leaving. You just leave.
Right.
I never told the employees why.
Right.
I helped them find other jobs before I left.
Right.
Those that didn't find jobs blamed me for not being able to go. They called me, they said, well, you sold us out. I said, no, I tried to help you get a job. You didn't want another job.
Yeah, and they didn't listen.
I left.
Right.
I left. I tried to get you something. Right. You didn't like what I was. That's not my problem.
No.
I left clean, and that's what I've done. Same thing. When I left Penn State, the one thing that I was just telling the person that I was meeting with earlier today, I learned in the 90s, after I left South Florida and went to Penn State, I was 32 years old, had my first child. I learned earlier in my career, help someone younger than you succeed. Because when you help them succeed, you'll be successful.
Yep.
Living that philosophy from 1990 till now, 3 former students are millionaires.
Wow.
A dozen former students are decision-making positions in companies that hire me as consultant.
Isn't that great? That's a testament to you.
All because I help them get to where they wanted to be. So that's why my career has been sustained, because all the people that on all the organizations that I'm working for now is because of the people that I worked with.
And that's because you're not selfish. You know, you're happy with yourself.
Yeah.
You love what you do. And it's really an easy philosophy. I try to teach other people that.
And I tell everybody all the time, very simple. I say, you know what, guys? Look, think about what it is that you want to do in your life. After you've gotten to a point, help another person pass you.
Yep.
Once you've gotten to a position and people say, oh, I want to be where you want to be, fine. How can I help you get there?
No, that's a great philosophy.
Because if you're going to work as hard as I am, then I'm going to work harder, because I'm going to make you earn my position.
Well, listen, I just trained somebody in photography. And you know me, I'm not easy.
Yeah.
And this guy sat in my car, and we had the radio on so the other guy behind us could hear us talk. And after we do 2 to 3 hours, my buddy goes, you know, you're beating the hell out of him. I go, well, does he want to be average or great? I don't do average. And the guy said, how do you feel about Carl just rip you? He goes, he's the expert. He's teaching me. I have no thin skin. And our buddy Willie knows, because Willie's heard me talk. And it's not because I'm being mean. You want to get to the level that you and I have been at, you got to work your tail off. And you got to love what you do.
And I learned back in, you know, when I was getting killed, because I was all the freelance and independent work I was doing, I was getting killed in taxes. My accountant told me, you better start a business and do something real fast.
Oh, wow. That's good advice.
And one of the things is I started my own production company in 2002. And by doing that, there was one goal. Make sure you have multiple streams of income in life so that you don't work full time for any one person.
Yep.
Because if that one person decides to let you go,
You're SOL.
you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And I've made sure that I always had multiple streams of income. When I look at, you know, I was looking at the paperwork that I gave you to share. Right now, I've got 10 streams of income.
Wow. That's
10.
pretty impressive.
And I knew 7, I kept it biblical, so that's why I used the number 7.
Okay.
But 10, there was no goal to get to that.
Right.
It was just have multiples. Now, understand, multiple streams of income doesn't mean every one of them is paying. But over certain time periods, when one drops off, another one kicks in.
It goes back to what you said. If you've helped somebody to be successful, they'll always remember that.
Exactly.
And, you know, the problem with, and I don't want to get political, but in this country, in Europe, you pay the older people to train you.
Yep.
In this country, you hit a certain age, they get rid of you because they're going to hire a bunch of young kids that don't have the experience
and pay them less.
And then they wonder why their company goes to hell.
And this is what I've done. The reason why I've stayed relevant is because I'm willing to train my replacement.
Yeah.
People go, well, why would you want to do that? I said, think about it. The person that's going to replace me doesn't know as much.
Right.
They're going to learn, but if they're smart, guess who they're going to ask to help them?
You.
Me. And then they're going to pay me.
Know, it's the same philosophy in dentistry. I've trained certain dentists. And they go, we want to be just like you. I go, you have no idea how many years I spent doing it. And I'll give them, like you said, this is what you need to do. Some of them will take the bull by the horns.
Sure.
Some of them won't. And the ones who won't are not that successful.
Nope.
You wonder why. Nope. I don't wonder. I know why.
Well, like I said, I've done things that I never thought I would do in my career.
Like what?
6 Olympics.
I know.
6 Olympics.
And you're not going to Paris. I got to talk. Give me Eric's phone number. I'm going to call Eric.
I'm upset about that one. But again, because of technology is the reason why I'm not going to Paris.
Oh, really?
Because NBC built a facility in Stamford, Connecticut. So it's now called Stamford, Connecticut, Paris.
Really?
Because 90% of the personnel are in Stamford, Connecticut, working the Olympics, because of the technology that's in place will allow them to work out of Stamford, Connecticut, as opposed to being in Paris.
So no travel,
none of that. Yeah. So the last major out-of-country event for me was 1992. Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona, Spain, yeah.
96, I was in Atlanta.
Yep.
And 2002, Salt Lake City, Utah. I haven't done another Olympics. I was looking forward to this one being the last one. But unfortunately, Stanford, Connecticut
Wait a
is
minute,
not.
you can't carry your son's bags?
No.
Can't you say, Eric, please, you know what?
Well, let's
My
there are
birthday's
others.
next week, Eric. You don't want to be a great birthday present for your old man? I don't need, I won't even eat much, Eric.
And my daughter's been to Paris. I'm like, oh, man, you know. But I have been to Paris. I just haven't been there since the 80s. That was the last time I was in Paris, and I went with a college friend. But that, to win an Emmy, that was never, ever
And you won your
anywhere.
Emmy for what?
In '92, it was the graphics manager for NBC. I was in charge of the graphic unit for
Okay.
NBC Sports. Now, what does that mean? Most of you probably don't know, but if you go back and do some research and look at the Olympics for 1992, look at the graphic look. The graphic look, we had to incorporate a graphic design that encapsulated the country. Well, the country of Spain was about artistry, the art.
Right.
Gaudi, Moreau, Picasso, all of those artists, graphic design was a part of the graphic look.
And you developed that.
I was part of the team
Wow.
that put that all together in 1992.
And you got an Emmy.
That was the best Olympics ever, as far as I'm concerned, in Barcelona, Spain. And
Why?
we got an Emmy because it told the story of the country graphically.
Okay.
And then in '96, when I did another, in Atlanta, we tried to use that same philosophy, but it didn't work because, unfortunately, Atlanta is not like Barcelona.
No,
Spain.
it's not a cultural icon like Spain.
So-
it hasn't been around that long.
We couldn't find good things
Right.
to encapsulate from the South, the state of Georgia.
Right.
And, I just said, okay, we got to come up with a different look. And when we came up with the look, I'll never forget Dick Ebersol, the executive producer
yeah.
of NBC, who I was working for at the time. He was looking at our design, and he had this big stogie cigar in his mouth, and he looked at the graphic, and he said, "Those are the worst effing graphics I've ever seen." And I went, "What the hell?" He says, "Those are not bar graphics."
What's a bar graphic?
He says, he shook his head, pulled the stogie out of him, and he says, "How do most people watch sports? At home? No, in a bar.
Oh.
When they're looking at all these multiple screens, they can't see that graphic. It's too damn small. Change it. It's not a bar graphic."
Boom.
That was like revelation. From
Did that
point
change
on.
everything then?
Changed everything.
Wow.
The whole look of
Whole look,
graphics
graphics for bars.
for bars changed.
Wow.
I mean, even though '92 was great, but it wasn't a bar graphic like we had to do in '96.
And now that bar graphic is still going today, isn't it?
Everybody, you
Especially
can read that graphic from 20 feet away because television, broadcast, online, social media is if you can read the graphic with the audio down, then you've told a successful story graphically.
Look where you've come. It's amazing, huh?
Exactly. And that's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to tell a story graphically so that the sound is turned down. I mean, think about it. Look at all of news. It's continuous.
Yes, on the bottom.
Bottom, lower third, continuous graphics, changing constantly. You don't need the audio. All you have to do is watch that graphic.
Well, you know where I learned that from? Tom Casey. When we did my audio book. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm talking and entertaining the troops. He's got my pictures popping in. He goes, "Carl, they don't want to just listen to you. They want to see stuff."
They want to see stuff.
And he did. If you got to check the audio video book out. What he did was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, so I understand fully. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah, and graphics tell the story.
Yep.
And that's what I learned back in the 90s when I was creating graphics. Now,
90s.
And I started doing that with ABC Sports when I was the graphics coordinator, production assistant to the producer, working on the Olympics in Calgary.
Wow. You were in Calgary too.
1988.
Wow. Wow.
So, like I said, I've done 6 Olympics.
Yeah, you've been around.
And, I never thought I would have gotten an Emmy because, I did, what was it? Lake Placid, Calgary, 1984, Los Angeles, then 92 Barcelona, 96 Atlanta, and then 2002.
Yeah.
So I was looking for number 7.
Oh, God. I got to call your son. You got to call your son. You got to get up there. You're denying Dad.
But yeah, with all of the Olympics, that's like a staple now. We used to use the Olympics as the test ground for graphics.
That was the barometer.
It was the barometer.
Wow.
Anything new that we wanted to introduce into news, sports, whatever, it started at
It makes sense. You got a worldwide audience, so you really know, you can feel if it's working or not.
Yeah, and watch. Here's a perfect example. By the time you see this program, look at the graphics for NBC
Right.
prior to the Olympics.
Okay.
And watch how they start incorporating the graphics into their whole new look
Interesting.
after the Olympics.
So do you know what the look is for this Paris?
Nope, nobody reveals it.
They don't reveal it until when? The day of?
Until opening ceremony.
Opening ceremony.
So we won't see it until what? It's 26th of July 26th is when you'll see
Yeah,
the
that's a
new
Friday,
graphic
because the
look.
27th is my 44 wedding anniversary. Can
All
you imagine?
right, there you go.
Debbie and I, 44 years on the 27th.
So that's when you'll see the new graphic
Wow.
look for NBC.
So we've come a long way, haven't we, Bruce?
Yes,
and we're still kicking.
And we're still going. We're still going.
There's
We've
no
still got a lot to
stopping us.
do.
Oh, I'm not
Still got
done.
a lot to do. I've got a whole lot of projects. Like I said, I've been trying to work on deals for the past week. I have the one dream that I had in the 80s that I never thought would happen was owning my own mobile television truck.
Really? I didn't know that.
I'm partners now with a group called Flight Media Group.
Okay.
They have a van,
Right.
but it's a 6-camera van,
Okay.
2 drones, PTZ cameras, which are basically stationary cameras, and wireless.
So it's like what we see when the news media goes
Yeah,
to a site.
yeah.
That's your dream to have one of those?
I wanted to have one back in the 80s.
Really? Way ahead of your
I
time.
lost my shirt trying to do it because back in the day, to own just a camera
Right.
would cost you almost $70,000.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not talking about the lens.
Right.
That was just the
Oh,
camera.
I know. Listen, I'm a wildlife photographer.
You put the lens on that thing, that's another 50 grand.
It's insane.
And then you needed a recording device.
Right.
So the technology now has allowed me to do things that was impossible to do in the 80s and the 90s. So now that's why I'm very active on social media and I'm on everything.
So tell us where people can find you.
Oh, first of all, if you just Google Bruce E. Dunn, you're going to find out where I am. I have my own website, dunenterprises.tv. I'm on Instagram, got 2 pages there. I'm on X. I have merchandise.
You on TikTok?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I'm on Snapchat.
That's still around?
Yes, it is.
I didn't even know
around.
Snapchat
Now,
was still around.
Snapchat primarily is for my, I was a teacher for 7 years
Yes.
at the high school level. So I amassed almost a 5,000 following in high school kids.
Wow.
And that was through Snapchat.
Snapchat. Wow.
And so I'm on all of those platforms as well as X. And then because my brother, who used to work at Bloomingdale's in New York City,
Oh, wow.
he was in fashion merchandise. In 1998, he designed a clothing line. Well, he was old school and he wanted to do a catalog. But then 2000 came and the internet, social media, told my brother, his name was Lenny. He just died, unfortunately, a year ago. But I said, Lenny, we can't do catalogs. Nobody buys a catalog or shops from a catalog anymore. He says, well, I don't know how to do all this other stuff. I remember how Bloomingdale's did it. He taught me retail. I developed the website. He came up with a whole theme, back end, name, Coco Mungo. We created our own name, CM, Coco Mungo. And what it means is the sweet world of music and rhythm and music.
Nice.
And what we did is we created an entire backstory for the merchandise to help sell it. And the goal was to create concerts and shows and events and then sell merchandise.
Did it work?
The show. A little bit,
Right.
but
It's a tough
because we
business.
didn't really get into the social media
Right.
realm, it was difficult to
Right.
do. Since he's passed away, I found out that he had about 2 or 3 people he was mentoring. that were designers. So now I've jumped back into the fray.
So you're going to start mentoring them.
I'm going to start mentoring them, and they've just shared their designs, and I'm going to start putting their designs out there. Matter of fact, just did a post 2 days ago on Instagram, the CM Instagram page, and the X Instagram page, or the X page, to introduce the new designs.
Well, text me that stuff so I can follow.
Okay,
absolutely,
definitely.
Because I'm really behind when it comes to the social media. I mean,
It's all about the marketing and hashtags. You got to learn how to use hashtags.
I'm learning how to do hashtags, but I wrote a book, didn't really market it. Then we did the audio video book, and we've gotten great reviews. So hopefully we'll get that ball rolling even more.
The marketing, most people don't understand. The marketing is the most important, and it always has been.
Right.
But it's easier now to market a product than it was in the 80s and the 90s.
Absolutely.
Because you had to depend on the broadcast or the cable operation to promote your stuff. Now,
Well, even
you've
today,
got social media.
Well, I self-published.
Yeah.
Because when I went to the publishing company, I'm not going to mention who they were, they would tell me, it's going to take 2 to 3 years. We can change your story. I go, change the story? I'm not changing my story. They go, that's the way it works. I go, I'm 67 years old. Nobody's telling me how it works. I'll publish my own. You know what they told me? It'll never get done. 4 months. Then they asked me to do an audiobook. And they said, that'll take a year. Thanks to Tom Casey, I think we did it in 3 months. So right there, we self-published everything ourselves.
The one thing I do, I don't consider myself a digital creator or an influencer. I'm still a media guy, a broadcaster, a creator of content, but what I understand is how to promote it, how to market it. And because of social media, I've studied the algorithms of how you have to
We're going to talk after the show, Bal.
So once I understood and learned the algorithms of how to get the material out there, and people that are doing these TikToks, they tell you what to do, but they're leaving out one little piece. Because they don't want you to know that, because then everybody will be successful. But the key thing to understand is you must put it out there multiple ways.
I didn't know that.
And different ways. So if you're going to create a 15 or 20 second video about your product, you need to create it multiple ways. Don't just take that first 20 seconds and put it on Facebook, put that same 20 on Instagram, put that same 20 on TikTok, Snapchat. No, you got to create different types.
Different types. That's what I did wrong.
And you got to promote it multiple times in a 24-hour clock.
Wow.
Because the world does not revolve around a 12 or 16-hour day. So if you want people in Singapore to see it, you better start working in their time.
Wow.
And that's how you promote yourself internationally. Eric has people all over the world reaching out to him because I happen to be up 3 a.m. All of a sudden, a new post comes out and I get a notification. Going like, 3 a.m.? Then I have to think, going like, okay, it's daytime somewhere else.
Yep.
So it's not 3 a.m., there. That's what you have to think about. You got to get out. You have to be on a 24-hour clock when it comes to marketing and promoting on social media.
Well, Tom is usually emailing me at 3:30 or 4:30, but he's working on content. So I don't know if it's going to Singapore, but it's going to my house. So Tom and I are going to have a little discussion how we can get our stuff out there.
I mean, and that's what it is. I mean, if you're up late at night, and because I travel multiple time zones in different parts of the United States and different countries, you see all of the material that's out there. Right. But you see things at certain times of night that you don't see in the daytime.
Interesting. See, I don't sleep. So you don't sleep either.
Yeah,
we never sleep. Well, how much do you sleep?
Yeah, I'm average about 6 hours.
Oh, really?
6 hours.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, I have to do that now because of
You're older?
Circumstances within my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Things that I have to do in the travel. If you don't take care of your body and get the proper rest, you can't do the crazy travel that I do.
Well, you look great. You've lost weight since we were on the show. I remember how big you were.
Still carrying 250 pounds.
250?
I'm 250.
I'm down to 184.
Oh, if I did that, the wind would blow me away.
I want the wind to blow me away. I think my wife wants the wind to blow me away.
My doctor says, I want you to drop 20 pounds and not happening.
No, you know what my doctor says? Are you working out, Carl? I go, why? He goes, you know, you need to do this. I go, well, I'm in shape. He goes, you're in shape. I go, round is a shape. Don't argue with me.
No, 250, I do light. I mean, I carry a bag, not the one I have with me today, but when I'm traveling, I got to carry a 25-pound bag.
Always.
Always. So that's my slight workout. I'm always going through airports. I'm working. I'm moving around. I don't sit. When I'm doing live production, I'm sitting for 3, 5 to 6 hours. So I stay active.
Do you wear compression socks when you're sitting that long?
Yes, I do.
Isn't that amazing?
I got them on right now.
So do I. Look at this. Look at this here. We got our compression socks. You know
Here we go. Here
the
we go.
relics. Hey.
Who knew?
Who knew? My son would go, Dad, you're telling people you're wearing compression socks? I don't wear diapers, so leave me alone.
There we go. It keeps the circulation right,
does.
and it keeps you going, man.
I do it when I'm on planes. You wear it on planes.
Exactly.
People don't understand that. If you understand biology, there's no pump in your legs other than a skeletal pump. The blood's got to go to your heart. Wear compression. You don't pull blood.
And your elevations, you're flying into. I mean, I was just in the past 4 weeks, Salt Lake City, Utah, Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
What the heck were you doing in South Dakota?
That's what I asked myself. AEW wrestling.
Oh, that's
All
right.
Elite wrestling. I was doing wrestling in there. Las Vegas. I've been to Las Vegas 6 times already.
You like Las Vegas?
I always like Vegas. It's a great place to hang out and then leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Henderson, Henderson, Nevada, which is off the strip. You go there, go up into the mountains. Yeah. But all of these, and I'm doing these West Coast travels in a weekend.
Wow.
I'm leaving on a Friday morning and coming back on a Sunday night.
Oh, wow. So you got lots of compression socks.
And I'm one who can sleep on a plane. A lot of people.
You can? Oh, I can't.
I'm off. I'm out before the plane takes off.
You sound like my wife.
I get a window seat, and before they taxi, I'm out. I tell the person that I'm sitting next to, just nudge me if I fall over on you.
I carry a lot of camera equipment with me, so it has to come with me on the plane. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I want to fly first class. Here's my wife. Oh, we're not paying for first class. Debbie, I need to be in first class. I need the leg room. She goes, what difference? Just go to sleep. Soon as we get on the plane, they don't even take off. Debbie's out like a light. Yeah. When we land, she goes, are we here? Where have you been for 3 hours? I'm talking to the flight attendants.
I leave on evening flights out of Daytona Beach going to Las Vegas, change in Atlanta. By the time I get to Vegas, it's 10:30 local time. Right. I don't wake up until the wheels hit the tarmac and land.
Really? Wow.
I'm out.
I do not sleep. Even when I flew to Africa twice, did not sleep.
I do the same thing going to Ireland.
Can't sleep.
Fly out of Kennedy.
Right.
7 p.m. in the evening. When you get to Ireland, it's 7 a.m.
Are you taking anything to sleep?
No.
You just go out.
Go out.
Not me.
And here's the crazy part. I do drink coffee. I'm not a massive, as my wife says, I'm a frou-frou coffee drinker.
A frou-frou. Oh, you like the frappuccinos.
Cream.
The cappuccino, the cream.
I have coffee with my sugar. So, so I load it up. So I'm not a real coffee drinker. Right. So coffee doesn't affect me the way it does most. I could drink coffee 10 o'clock at night and be asleep by midnight. No problem.
Not me.
No problem.
I drink. Listen, they used to ask me if I was on drugs. Can you imagine if I was on drugs? You see how wired I was, even when we were on the show, right?
Yeah.
I didn't drink anything. I don't take anything.
And since I've been involved with MMA and wrestling, I've got all these sponsors with these energy drinks now.
Don't drink them.
They're terrible.
They're the worst thing.
Did I say that?
No, he did not say it, but Dr. Carl said don't drink energy drinks. I've just given this lecture to my son because of what it does to your heart.
Yeah,
it's really not good for you.
And I discovered that the hard way.
Oh, how?
With drinking one of the energy drinks after having only 4 hours of sleep.
How did your heart feel? Yeah,
it was palpitations. Yeah. I didn't know what the devil was
going into AFib. Yeah,
and I was like, whoa, I gotta.
No,
okay, no more of that silliness.
No, they're terrible for you. What I drink that's natural that you might think is matcha. Matcha tea.
With it.
You ever hear of Dr. Weil, W-E-I-L?
Yeah.
He's like one of the organic gurus in medicine. Mm-hmm. He gets his tea from Japan. It's the pure tea that you see.
Okay.
And it gives you energy. Doesn't have a whole lot of caffeine in it.
Where do you buy it?
I buy it through his website.
Oh,
he
so
doesn't charge.
It's not.
You can buy matcha anywhere, but you never know what you're buying.
That's true.
I want to know what I'm buying
exactly.
and if it's pure. Exactly. So I buy my matcha from him. Like this morning, I made a smoothie with the matcha tea that had turmeric in it, a banana, almond milk, some ice. I've been flying ever since. I went to the gym. I rode the bike for 40 minutes. I did 50 push-ups, and I said, I feel great. Now, am I going to crash? There's no crash.
There's no crash.
And I checked my blood pressure because at 69 now you start checking a lot of things.
Sure thing. But that's that's how you got to take care of this temple.
Yeah.
This body.
But we didn't think about that when we were younger.
But when you play sports, you did.
Yes.
Because, like I said, I played football.
But you played through college.
I played through college.
I stopped in college.
And the one thing that I had to learn was if we're going to salvage this body well into, because the promise is 120 years.
Oh, I don't want to live that long. I'm done.
I'd like to get to 100.
Really? You want to get to 100?
I want to get to 100 to see what this world becomes. But 100 years, the only way you're going to make it that long, everybody has all these theories about, I know people that are still, 105, that smoke, that drink, that do everything. It's genetics. That's one thing. That's one. But it's just
movement.
Keep active. Don't do any one thing in excess.
Right.
And don't limit yourself. I do not diet.
What's that? That's a four-letter word that's not allowed in my family.
I don't diet. I eat whatever I want when I want. You just have to do it in moderation. Right. You can't deprive yourself of something.
Let me ask you this now. Now that we're older, I used to be able to devour everything. Now I eat half of what I normally eat. How about you?
My eyes are not as big as they used to be.
Okay, all right.
So I now make sure I order the portions and I ask, how large is this meal? Whether I'm going to take it, because I won't waste food.
No. We grew up in that generation.
I'm not going to waste food.
I'm bringing more food home now than ever before.
So
that's what you're being politically correct here, Bruce. Come on. We're not on WCEU here. You're not trying to reel me in again.
No, I will bring that food home, but for the most part, I will order a smaller meal.
Yeah.
Rather than order a large meal to take it home, because to me it's a waste.
Well, I don't order like I used to. Appetizer, salad, entree, dessert. No. Those days are gone.
I'll make a meal out of an appetizer.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I just order 2 appetizers.
Yeah.
And it's funny that we talk like this now.
Yeah, I mean, people don't realize that.
No. And do you eat earlier?
Oh, no.
You don't? You eat late?
I eat 24/7.
Really? You sound like Tom.
I eat it when I feel like eating. I eat.
See, Tom is addicted to food, so I
my
make
wife.
food to
My
bring to
wife.
the set.
I drive her nuts. I'm in the house 2 o'clock in the morning. If I happen to be up because I'm working in my man cave, I'll come out and I'll start eating the leftovers.
Oh, see, no,
and she's like, "What are you doing? Go to bed." I said, "I'm hungry." Well, not if you go to bed.
You know what I do? I get up in the middle of the night because I can't sleep. Mm-hmm. I'm eating gelato.
Oh, no.
Oh, I love gelato ice cream. Debbie goes, "Did you eat it?" I go, "That's mine. Don't touch my gelato."
See, one of the things that I like to give myself as a treat is we don't buy desserts and keep that in the house.
Really?
So that when I go out, I have willpower, but I want to have a treat so that when I go out, it's more enjoyable. My wife cooks.
Yeah.
She cooks everything. So when I go to a restaurant, there's very little I can order that she hasn't made.
You're talking to an Italian here.
Exactly.
Wait till you taste what I made here. Look at Willie smiling over there and Tom in the background.
There's very little.
Yes.
Now, here's the other side of my daughter, who's the social media, influencer.
Oh,
she's a foodie. So my wife is a foodie. My daughter's a foodie. My son's a foodie. They can't stand being around me because I can eat cardboard with salt and pepper. It doesn't matter. I eat for sustenance.
You know what I tell people I eat for? The sport. I don't eat because I'm hungry.
Exactly.
I never eat.
I eat because I have to.
No, I eat because I want to.
No, I eat because I have to.
No.
I need to have food, so I will eat. And it has to be terrible for me to not finish what's put in front of me.
I'm a friggin' goat. I eat anything. I don't care. Even if it moves, I'll eat it.
I'll eat it. People always ask me, "Okay, Bruce, we're going to go out to a restaurant. What are you in the mood for?" Whatever you're in the mood for, I'm in the mood for. Well, do you have your favorite? I said, doesn't matter. Yeah. I am not picky when it comes to food. I eat for sustenance.
Where's your favorite country for food?
Right now, I would say Ireland.
Really? Have you been to Italy?
No. That's why.
Oh, no.
That's why.
You go to Italy. We got to go to Italy. I've been to Italy many times. There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
But here's my wife's take on Italian food.
What?
I can make pasta.
No way.
She will not go to an Italian
No,
restaurant.
I've gone.
Because she says, I can make Italian food.
Well, Debbie and I have gone to Italy many times. We always take a cooking class with a top chef.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. You ask these guys how I cook. And it's funny.
Well, I saw some of your videos, too.
Oh, yeah, and Debbie's a great cook. And we have cooking battles. We used to have Thanksgiving battles because her turkey looks like Martha Stewart's. Mine looks like it was deep fried and the thing is anorexic, but mine always tastes good. So we always would have turkey wars.
See, I can't say I like.
What?
I used to cook a lot
Oh, I love to cook.
prior to getting married because I've been married for 35 years to the same person. So
Thank goodness.
she cooks.
Yeah.
But when I cook, I'm old-fashioned style because my mom is from South Carolina and my dad's from Georgia.
Oh, you like the southern
I learned
style.
the southern
Biscuits
style.
and gravy.
So I'm cooking everything that's not good for
Yeah.
you, supposedly.
Yeah.
But I cook it in a healthy manner because I use extra virgin olive oil rather than grease or
Right.
or
lard.
Or lard.
Yeah.
That Crisco back in the
Crisco
day.
crap, yep.
Yeah. But think about it. That generation never got sick in the illnesses that we have today.
Well, you know why?
because
though?
it was all grown, not processed.
All natural, no processed, not all these chemicals. You know, half our food in the United States is banned in Europe.
Sure.
When I go to Italy, I eat 24/7. I don't stop. I gain no weight.
It's all fresh.
Gain no weight. I got videos and pictures. I've made friends everywhere in Italy where I go, and they go, "When are you coming back?" I go, "I'm coming back," because you don't gain any weight, and the food is all fresh. They don't have big refrigerators.
No.
They go, "Well, we got to go shopping." What? It's not like here, going to a Publix. You go. There's a vegetable stand outside. There's a fruit place. There's a separate bakery. I was at in Parma.
Whole Foods is like that. And I learned when I was up in Connecticut, they had a Whole Foods that was walking distance from where I lived. And you could go there and just buy what you needed on a daily basis to cook. And it was all fresh. Only problem is cost of king's ransom.
Yes.
You know, there's a joke going out on social media right now that says, I'm old enough now where I can carry $100 worth of food with one hand.
Yeah. Well, they're showing $100 and it's a $20 bill.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's crazy.
It's insane.
But yeah,
And
you have to find ways to just enjoy food, enjoy your eating.
Enjoy life.
And that's what I've done.
I'll tell you a quick little story. I'm in Italy. Now, remember, I don't speak Italian. They go, "What language did you speak, Dr. B?" I go, "Bad New York English." And so I'm in there. We're in the cheese factory. All they make is cheese. Parmesan, mozzarella. So the guy's Italian, and he makes this big bowl. I go, "Oh, so I can save half and probably eat it in 2 days." He starts cursing at me. "Oh, Americana, you don't save food."
Nope.
I go, "You don't eat leftovers?" "No, the cheese." I'm like, "Oh my God, you thought it was sacrilegious there." But I understood what he was saying.
And that's my wife. She doesn't eat leftovers.
Your wife doesn't eat leftovers?
She makes a meal for a king's feast, and she doesn't eat leftovers.
So what does she do with it?
I have to eat it.
Oh, okay.
I can eat.
You don't throw it out.
No, I'll eat 4 days worth of leftovers every day until it's all gone.
Well, what I found is this new generation, and my daughter's part, they don't eat leftovers. They don't eat leftovers.
They make the meal for that night. That's
No,
it,
they
or for
make
that
enough
day.
food, and if it's left over, they throw it out.
Well, my kids don't throw it out.
I don't throw
They will
food out.
make enough where it won't be a leftover. It will be a meal and a half for 1.5 days.
Bruce, being an Italian, you never make enough for the one dinner. You make enough to feed everybody.
Yeah.
Willie would come to my house, he leaves with doggy bags. I come to Tom's house, I bring doggy bags. So that's the way we grew up.
That's
I
right.
tell people, you really want to get along with everybody in life? Music, food. And humor.
Yep.
Think about it.
Yep.
Those 3 ingredients,
Music
really,
and food.
it breaks down every wall. But even
wall.
humor.
Every wall.
Everybody wants to laugh.
Yep.
Everybody wants to eat.
And that's why I enjoyed Ireland so much, because I went to Ireland 4 times.
I haven't been there yet.
And I always went in March during St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
Holy cow.
You're a beer drinker?
No.
No.
But the only beer, well, I don't even call it beer. The only drink I drink is Guinness.
Yes. Is it warm or cold?
It's got to be made with the tap
Okay.
for the perfect pour.
Really?
So if I order a Guinness in these Irish pubs here in the United States,
Right.
and they bring it out instantly,
Right.
it's not
Wow,
not the perfect
interesting. I
pour.
didn't know that.
A true Guinness
Right.
takes 4 to 7 minutes to prepare.
I didn't know that. Look at you.
Because there is a whole process. I went to the Guinness school in
Daughter
Ireland.
better watch out now. You're becoming a foodie here. You're becoming a foodie.
No, it's just that one thing. I have the certificate
You have the certificate.
from Ireland that shows that I know how to make the perfect pour.
Wow, that's interesting.
Because it's done in 3 stages.
Okay.
You know, it's the glass, it's a special tap.
Right.
You pour 2/3, you let it sit, and it separates. Then with the special tap, you fill to the next level, and you can see the 3 layers
Really?
within the Guinness, and then you top it off with the shamrock.
All right, I'm making phone calls to my Irish friends who are from Ireland.
Telling you,
Yep,
they
I'm
will
gonna-
tell you
they'll
the
tell-
perfect. We'll call it the perfect pint or the perfect
pint.
pour.
And the alcohol content is a lot higher than we
Oh,
have here.
huge! Fish and chips and a Guinness.
Yes.
A pint of Guinness
Yep.
is a meal.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I was in Scotland.
Potatoes. They are into potatoes in
You
Ireland.
ever have Newcastle beer?
Yes.
So I'm at a wedding. I'm photographing the wedding, and I go in and I says I like a Newcastle. They bring me out a pint. I have to have it ice cold.
Yeah.
My friend goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "What do you mean, Carl? You can't drink the beer that fast. You're gonna get a buzz." I go, "Nah." I drank the second one. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Where am I? The alcohol content is so much stronger. It's
And
wild.
see, they don't call Guinness beer
No.
in Ireland.
What do
It's
they
a
call it?
barley.
It's a barley.
It's a barley.
That I didn't know.
And
either.
the smell is it's actually a good fragrance. You go to the factory because I bought I have my original glass from Ireland
that you bought.
that I bought.
You brought it home.
And I brought it home, and then I have the glass where I learned how to do the perfect
Oh,
pint.
cool.
So I got both of them, and then I went to the Jameson factory.
Oh wow.
So
So you like Jameson whiskey?
Jameson whiskey because I brought 2 bottles, $150 a bottle. They gave those to me.
Wow.
Because of the relationship that I had with the Irish government and why I was
Nice.
there and things that I was doing. And it took me 3 years to finish that whiskey.
Really? See, I'm a tequila guy now.
Because, I do tequila now.
Oh.
I only do 2 different types, though. So
Which ones do you drink?
the Rocks tequila, can't remember which one that is, and what's his name, the other one.
Nah.
Those are the 2 stars
Those
that
are me-
created
yeah,
it.
no. You're gonna come to my condo. You ask Willie. I drink Clase Azul tequila. You ever
I've
had
heard
that?
of it, but
It's a
I haven't
sipping
seen it.
tequila.
Yeah.
And the one called Cava Antigua. I drink all kinds of pure blue agave tequila that you don't mix. No sugar.
Yeah.
No just with 1 round ice cube.
And that's it. And that's how I drank these tequilas.
Yes.
Terramana, I think it is called.
Casamigos.
Casamigos. That's one
But
of
they
them.
all add sugar
and then
to them. Did you know that?
Yeah. So it's those 2. The only
See,
2
I went to
tequilas
the
I drink.
tequila school and got my certificate on tequila. So, because I developed an allergy to Italian wines in California.
Really?
They said it was the sulfites
Wow.
because of the pollen. So now it looks like it's less now because we had that spell in the world. But look at this show. We're all over the map. You know why? Because we entertain. You want to be entertained. You want to have a good time. You want to watch us. Bruce Dunn, my first producer, and he won't be my last, trust me, because we may do it again. We talked about that. Now,
Worldwide.
you did say something that you want to write a book. Tell us what you want to do.
Well, everyone that I have met through the years,
Right.
and they've heard my stories, they've heard my adventures, they've heard the things that I've done and all the things, they said, you need to write a book. And I've heard that more times than I care to admit. But what's even more telling is at least 24 of those people that told me I should write a book
Right.
wrote a book.
Right.
So I have everybody else's book.
Yep.
And I don't have one myself.
That's how I started.
And the thing is I walk around with it, so I actually have it. I call it the Book of Bruce.
The Book of Bruce.
It's not going to be what the final title is, but I've got several friends that I've told about it, and they said, you're thinking about how to write it. What you need to do is just put it in sections and start from wherever you want to start, and at least start. Because for me, most of my adventures began in high school. So I've got from high school to college to the first job. I want to do it by decades. One of the things that I wanted to do this year, And unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, I'm not even going to get into. With turning 65, I had a plan for my 65th birthday, and you were on that list. 6 decades of friend birthday party.
Wow. What happened?
I was going to do it on a yacht.
Where's my invitation?
I had the whole invitation list
Oh,
done.
my God.
Unfortunately, my wife got ill.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
And as a direct result of that, I could not, in my heart of hearts, justify spending that kind of money this year on a yacht party, because she and I got married on a yacht.
Oh, I didn't know that. On a yacht? Wow.
Down in Fort Lauderdale. It was called the Anticipation.
Wow.
So we got married on a yacht, and I said, and I'd been planning this for years, I said, for 65, I'm going to do a yacht party, and I'm going to call it 6 Decades of Friends.
Wow.
From every decade, and I would put a list together of all the people. Now, here's the scary part about that. I started that list 2 years ago.
Wow. How many?
10 of those people are already deceased.
That's sad. Do you remember my...
That's what bothered me more than anything else.
Here's where you get your epiphany. Remember my best friend, Frank Bracco?
Yeah.
And he wanted me to have my own show. I don't know if you remember that. That's Carl. Oh, yeah. He was going to put up $250,000. He died the day before we closed on our house. 65 years old. And
that was the thing for me. So I said, all right, my next goal after I realized that wasn't going to happen this year, I said, okay, I'll do it from 7 decades. And then I said, you know what? No. I'm going to plan for 66. I'm going to plan for 67. I'm going to plan for 68. Yep. I'm going to make that party happen.
One of those years.
One of those years. I am not going to wait until I'm 70 because my brother died at 70.
Oh, wow.
My mom died at 72. My dad died at 72.
Wow. Yeah.
So I'm not promised those years. No. So I'm not going to wait.
Tomorrow's not promised to anybody. You know that, Bruce. Promised. So that's why we got to keep going.
I'm working on the book longhand, the old-fashioned way, but at the same time, I'm going to get to a point where I will just sit down and reflect and just start writing.
Well, let me tell you how I did my book, because my patient was a 12-time best-selling author for Troy Seuss's name was, and he wrote the Mickey Rollins series on baseball. Mm-hmm. I don't type. I'm old school. You type.
And I won't even type because that requires this I carry because I can write on the plane.
No, but I can't.
I can do anything.
I
like to handwrite. Yeah. I like to longhand.
I like to handwrite, but it would take forever if I had to handwrite a book. So what Troy did is he'd give me a list the day before, and we did every decade of my life from 11 years old all the way up.
That's what you
And
did.
He had some questions, and then he just turned on the tape recorder, and I would just go. Then he would take everything I said and put it on his computer, and then he'd have to translate it all, send me it to look at it, and that's how the book became.
And see, now technology-wise, you have voice translation, so that can be done.
Well, I tried to do that with Dragonfly. It didn't work for me because with my New York accent, you never know, you never know what was coming out.
Well, you don't have to go that far.
No.
Just try the text messages on your iPhone.
I know. Oh, my God.
They butcher you.
Oh, they butchered me the other day. I sent something to some friend of mine, and he goes, "You wrote penis?" I go, "What?" And then I'm looking, I go, "I didn't say that."
It interprets what it hears and translates. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's because of my accent.
But that's the plan for. I will write the book, and
just do it.
I'm hoping that I can. I'm working towards having it at least finished before my 66th birthday.
So you got 1 year. I'm going to hold you to. I'm going to have to start calling you.
1 year.
You know what? You can come visit me in Daytona. I'm still there.
You still there?
We haven't sold it yet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I figure as long as I can afford.
When do you come?
Usually on the weekends. Before Frank died, we were there every weekend. Every weekend. Then when
I'm usually gone on weekends. That's the problem. That's
so but now I
travel.
But now I'm retired.
Yeah.
So now I go in the middle of the week.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a whole different ball game now. So I will definitely call you. Come over. We'll have a little tequila.
Text. I'm in Daytona. I'm in Daytona.
Come on
That's all I need. Yep. That's all I need.
Well, this has been a great show. And, we got to thank everybody for tuning in. Bruce, wonderful having you on here. Again, repeat to our audience where they can find Bruce E. Dunn. Bruce E. Dunn. Again, you can Google search Bruce E. Dunn and you'll see all of the social media sites I'm on. But it's DunnEnterprises.tv, which is a unique website, plus BruceEDunn.com, because I'm a public speaker as well. So you've got that option. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Snapchat. Just search the name, Bruce E. Dunn.
Can't miss me.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Dr. Carl, and you've been watching Tonight Orlando with my great guest, Mr. Bruce Dunn. And Bruce, we've been together a long time, and what do we say? When life has you meatballs, what do? Forget about it. You've been watching Tonight Orlando with Dr. Carl and Mr. Bruce Dunn. Ciao.